Good morning once again. We have Justice Liberan just arriving here, and I'll request our main speakers and the people who are the glory of this organization to come to the stage once the chief guest is here. So my request is to Shri R.I. Singh, Shri R.S. Gumman, our speaker for the day, Shri Rajan Kashyap ji, M.S. Malik Sahab, Ms. Anupama, another economist who addresses us, and Shri Devinder Sharma to move to the stage in a moment when we have the chief guest arrive here. And then we start our proceedings. Kindly welcome Justice M.S. Liberhan, our chief guest for the day. I'm, I'm both grateful and apologetic to him. I've dragged him once again in last 2 months here, sir. I request Shri R.I. Singh ji, I request Shri Malik, Shri Gumman, Shri Rajan Kashyap, Shri Devinder Sharma. Shri Devinder Sharma was here. Ma'am Anupama probably is also here. I'll start the day's proceedings with two disclaimers. The first is my presence here almost as a trespasser. I'm neither a civil service officer, nor an IPS officer, nor a provincial service officer, but I think lawyers is a necessary evil you can't avoid probably. My second disclaimer is that we had the problem of plenty here. We had a lot of wise people who had very rich experience in the audience as also on the dais. So we had a big problem asking some people to come forward. So if we miss some people whose words we need to hear, I apologize, but I assure them that Boparaji will organize another function where we'll have the opinion of others. With this, I'll give you just a very brief overview of how we have to look at the Kisan movement. I'll touch three aspects very briefly. My first perspective on the Kisan movement is the Kisans are stuck at present moment in a very grim struggle. It looks like a do and die situation. Some people call it a deadlock, and they appear to have hit a roadblock. But there is another way of looking at it. For us, the citizens of the country, for the polity of India, for the people of India, Kisans have already made 6 landmark achievements. So the 6 gifts of the Kisan Andolan to the country, I'll share with you. And I think this is a lasting contribution to a healthy and vibrant democracy that India is surely going to be. The first of this is, in my perspective, the dissolution of fear has started. It's more than 100 years ago that Tagore had dreamed of a land where the mind is without fear and where the head is held high. But the events of last few years had shown us that there was a lurking fear, a meaningful silence all around, and it had become difficult to voice dissent, to differ, to give a meaningfully different viewpoint. So the first gift the Kisans have given us is they have penetrated into this fear. This fear engulfing the people of the country has started dissolving. So this is the first gift our Kisans have given to us. The second gift of the Kisan Andolan is closely related. A democracy or a healthy society is known by the existence of dissent, the right to express dissent, to oppose, to stand for a different point of view, to agitate and to protest. This right had also, in a very, very silent way, been curtailed, suppressed, taken away. And our best example is the way CA protests were held, and then they were followed by involvement of even people who had no remote connection with what subsequently happened in Delhi. So the second contribution of the Kisan Andolan is the re-emergence of dissent and right to protest and right to agitate. The assertion of the people's right to tell the government that we have a right to oppose the laws which are anti-people, we have a right to be involved in the lawmaking process, we have a right to stand up for public interest, is the second. The third is very lasting. The third is the slow takeover of the country's economy, polity, and society by the mega corporates. You are people who know very keenly about economy. You must all be noticing how the country is moving steadily and surely into the hands of the very big oligarchic, monopolistic corporates. We are moving towards what we may call monopoly capitalism and crony capitalism. And today's newspaper tells you that one of the gentlemen who's in the thick of the controversy in the Kisan Andolan, Mr. Adani, he has made the highest capital gains throughout the world in this year. He has added 16.2 billion to his last year's overall wealth. So this is the third aspect which the politicians raised but nobody noticed. The dominance of the country's economy and polity by super heavy mega corporates, two groups which we all know about, is the third contribution of the Kisan Andolan. Kisan Andolan brought this into very sharp relief. The third contribution. The fourth is kindly appreciated. The one, it is a people's movement. Now it's very easy to say it's a people's movement because people participate. Not in that sense. It is a silent and peaceful cultural revolution. Can you look for a leader who's outside the farmers' genuine community, who's leading the farmers? It's a movement truly of the farmers, by the farmers, for the farmers. They have generated their own leadership. And it is heartening to see farmers talking about their issues with a very calm confidence, with assuredness. They are generating a leadership of their own. And this I would call a very welcome, positive cultural revolution in the polity they are providing tomorrow. For instance, I can give you a very short example. Once these farmers return to Punjab, it will be difficult for whosoever is ruling the state to not expect a very vigilant citizenry. And the fifth, which is closely aligned, is another silent cultural revolution, the coming of the woman to the center stage. Constitution, reservations in the legislature, in the panchayat, have hardly done so much as the Kisan Andolan has done. We know women sarpanches were made, but we also know sociological studies showed that from writing the reports to taking actions, it was the husband in the house who was doing it. Today we have a genuine, earthy leadership of women emerging, volunteers going and leading in their own right. I think this is a great signal for the new India. And therefore, this, these circumstances are all added by the last one, last but not the least. The country has seen very dangerous, poisonous polarization in the years that have gone by. Polarization on the basis of caste, polarization on the basis of religion, on the basis of region. Kisan Andolan has demolished some of these structures of hate. You have seen Punjab and Haryana, you have seen caste issues being raised, and you have seen how the Kisans have taken a pan-India stand. How today the movement is becoming an all-India Kisan movement. How it is bringing center stage the issues that economists and farm scientists like Shri Devendra Sharma have been raising. So let us thank the farmers for these 6 gifts which they have already given to the country. The second aspect which I'll touch very briefly is, look at the paradox in the Kisan Andolan. We have all been closely aligned with what has been happening in Punjab and Haryana. We sadly recall that from 2000 onwards, we had 3 suicides a day. And one thing which I must all of us tell all of us to correct is, these suicides were of Kisans and the farm workers. The ratio was about 60-40. So 3 people were dying a day from 2010 onwards. 97 households were in debt. And that old saying of the pre-independence days that a farmer is born in debt, he lives in debt, he dies in debt, is today's reality. Then it baffles me, why is the Kisan wanting the status quo not to change? Does he want the right to commit suicide and right to live in debt? Because the other side says a very, very rosy picture. No. Unfortunately, the farm sector needs creative, informed reforms, but reforms for the better, not for the worse. And that is why these 3 pieces of legislative action are death warrants which are being opposed and which have been exposed also in their very, very dangerous implications for the country. And the last aspect which I'll touch before I call the learned speakers is, we are at the crossroads today. The Kisans are on the one hand very, very strong. Their morale is all-time high. For after an initial imbroglio, which you all saw on 26 January, they consolidated again. The villages are organized. Haryana has joined in a big way, taken the lead. Uttar Pradesh has also joined. But kindly look to the other side. You have an insensitive, a stubborn government, blind to the situation, not even agreeing to act in the national interest. So that is where most of our speakers will enlighten us today as to what the way forward is. But at the end of the day, I'll request all of you to consider passing a resolution asking the central government to give up this stubborn, recalcitrant and anti-national stance of not approaching the farmers and waiting for the moment to tire out.